These two strategies will drive your man wild because it is something that men really do admire in women. Hi ladies, my name is Ieva Bereisaite. I am one of Greta's high value women coaches, and today we will be talking about two strategies that will literally drive your man wild. Before we jump into today's video, make sure you take the self-awareness test to find out if you are a woman of high value or if you're a woman of low value. You can find that test in the description section below. Also, if you want to get your hands on a t-shirt like Chase Goals Not Drama or a hoodie, then make sure you check out Greta's store. You can find the link to that in the description section below as well. So without further ado, let's jump into the first strategy. And the first strategy is all about self-respect. Respecting yourself in all aspects of life really does make you high value because you know what your worth is. I think self-respect does take some time to build up, especially since it's not something we're born with naturally, and we throughout the years might kind of forget just how important it is to respect ourselves. Self-respect really does go hand in hand with the high value traits that Greta teaches. If you respect yourself, you will not accept the disrespect of other people. With this in mind, you will obviously then not accept any form of name calling or negative name calling that you do not like. If you have self-respect, then you are confident of your own abilities and what you can do. You know what treatment is not okay and how you want to be treated instead. These are all traits of having self-respect. If you have self-respect, it means you respect your own values and your own morals. For example, if someone is gossiping about someone at work and one of your values is that gossiping is bad, gossiping is not a good trait to have, right? You would not get into that situation of gossiping about the other person because you respect your own values and you respect your own morals that you set for yourself. When you respect your own values in life and when you have your own moral standard that you attain to, you have self-respect for yourself. You do not lower your values and you do not lower your morals for a man or for anyone else. So self-respect, as you can see, is something that is really learned throughout life, and it is something that is progressed and just kind of built up throughout learning how to be high value. Not many people have self-respect, and not many people therefore can stand up for themselves, right? They're not confident enough to do that. But when you can stand up for yourself because you're not gonna let anyone treat you badly, it is a very, very, very high value trait to have, and it really is very beautiful, and it shows a lot of strength and a lot of confidence for oneself. A high value man, like a man that really has his stuff together, will look for a partner who is equal to him intellectually, who he can call a partner gladly, a partner in life, and a woman who has self-respect and stands up for herself and has her values and is in check with her morals is something rare nowadays, but it is very, very valuable, I think, because you then in a way, let in that type of man into your life, or you attract that type of man into your life because it is your own set standard for life. Having self-respect shows a lot of strength and a lot of confidence, and it does attract a high value man. It does make high value men look at you like, oh, wow, she has a lot of self-respect. You know, not many people have that. Not many women, at least, have that nowadays. And it is a beautiful trait to have. And because it is rare, and because not many women have the guts to stand up for themselves in a way, or to call someone out when they have disrespected them, that's why this strategy of having self-respect for yourself makes men go wild, because it is so rare, and it kind of shows just how confident you are within yourself and how in tune you are with yourself, and you know your value. A woman with self-respect will not get into a loud argument with someone who is being disrespectful. She doesn't have to sink to that level of disrespect. Instead, she would remove herself from an argument if she hears or if she sees that someone is verbally disrespecting her. She will put them in their place and she would remove herself from the situation. Self-respect is such a big topic because a woman that has self-respect has her emotions automatically in control as well. It really interlinks. You don't have to make a scene or lose emotional control to prove a point if you are a woman who respects herself. You have yourself in check, and you know that you do not have to raise your voice to prove a point. You don't have to lose emotional control to be heard or to be taken seriously, okay? Or to get attention, right? A woman with self-respect doesn't have to do that. A woman who's in control of herself, her emotions, and respects herself is a very mature trait to have, and it is very intellectual in a way, I would say, and it is very attractive for men who are high value. A woman who is in control of herself and who is mature is very attractive for a high value man because it shows that she is like an equal partner intellectually, you know. She is in tune with herself and she can control herself and her emotions, and it's just kind of like this high value attitude that naturally comes when you have self-respect for yourself. And this is definitely one very big strategy that is very rare and is literally a hidden gem. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that right now by clicking the subscribe button, and also click the bell button to be notified whenever Greta uploads a brand new video. Strategy number 2 is boundaries. So first things first, people are not born knowing how to set a boundary. Boundaries are, however, extremely important if you want to be respected by a man, but not just a man. It comes down to being respected by family and friends and co-workers as well. But just for now, we're going to stick to men. A lot of people might think that boundaries are mean, or when you set a boundary that you are not a friendly person, not a nice person to be around, and boundaries will very often be looked at something funny or something awkward. But boundaries are not funny, and they are definitely or should not be awkward. The truth is, boundaries are very, very important if you want to be treated well. Boundaries are also very important if you want to set a standard for the relationship. So if a man disrespects you in some way, shape, or form, or does or says something that you do not appreciate, you can say something like this: I don't appreciate that name calling, or that wasn't a very nice thing to say, Or if he's being rude, you can call him out by saying, that sounds a bit rude. Simply calling a person out in their behavior if they are acting disrespectfully towards you is a very good trait to have. This does not mean that you have to pay attention to every single little thing that the guy does and call him out on every single little thing. Sometimes men just banter, but if he is being disrespectful towards you, or if he is being rude and you notice it and you do not feel comfortable with it, then you can set a boundary like the one that I mentioned. Boundaries are set when a person acts out and we tell them by setting a boundary that it is not appropriate and not okay to talk to us or to act with us this way. The beauty about setting a boundary is when you do set a boundary, you don't have to explain yourself. So you don't have to go in and explain, oh, please don't do this because then I feel this and this and this and this way. And the reason for this is, a conversation would start and he can just say, oh, I didn't mean it this way. And then you can say, oh, but I feel this way. And no, boundaries are not about feelings. Boundaries are simply about calling someone out on their behavior and saying that I don't appreciate it, that wasn't very nice, I'd appreciate it if you didn't do it again. Calling someone out on their behavior will make them not do it again. So call someone out on their behavior and set a boundary, and then you can just simply move on. And again, if a boundary is stepped over, a consequence follows with that. So if you set a boundary and it is not accepted and the situation happens again, you detach yourself from the person or the situation. Again, as you can see, this does have a lot to do with self-respect. If we set a boundary, we stick to it. So let's say someone says something rude or calls you a name that you don't like. Let's say your boyfriend calls you a name that you don't like, right? And you call him out and say, that name sounds quite rude. I'd appreciate it if you didn't say it again. A lot of people don't know how to set a boundary and are scared to set boundaries. But even if your guy calls you a name that you do not like, right? Calls you a name that you don't like, you set a boundary by saying that name sounds quite rude, or I'd appreciate if you didn't say it again, or don't call me that name, I don't like it, anything like that. And if he calls you that name again, you can literally distance yourself, okay, in some way, shape, or form, and let that distance be felt between you and your partner. And the thing that will happen is he will know why you will have distanced yourself, especially if you set a boundary beforehand. And then when he acts nice again, you can continue speaking with him. And when he calls you that name again, you set that boundary again and you stick to that boundary. So he will learn that when he disrespects you or when he says something that you do not like, basically, that the result of it is that you distance yourself from him. You separate yourself from him. You take time for yourself. You literally set an emotional distance between the two of you. Or you, in a way, act a little bit colder. And that is a consequence that a boundary has. And he will then pick up and understand, okay, when I call her this, she literally distances herself from me, and I don't want her to distance herself, so I will just stop calling her that name. So don't be afraid to call someone out when they do disrespect you, and just do it neutrally. You don't have to be mean, you don't have to be anything bad, but just saying that you don't appreciate something or you don't like it and sticking to that will make it disappear. And sometimes guys will try and really, in a way, push your buttons or call you that specific name a couple of times and just to see how you react. So you do stick to your boundary and do as I explained. When a woman knows how to set a boundary, men really do love that, and they, even though it might, even if a boundary, if you're new to boundaries and they come across as being a little bit awkward at the start and you're not sure if you're doing a good job, just do your best and stick to it and just continue with it, and it will get better. And men, even though it might seem like, oh, she just set a boundary with me, like not many people have set boundaries, so it might be something new to him, but it definitely is something that men, even if they don't show it, they do appreciate it because they'll be put in their place, so to say, and it does show a lot of self-respect from the woman's side for herself. So setting boundaries and having self-respect are two strategies that really do drive men wild, especially if they are high value men, because these traits are very, very rare and they show a lot of maturity, intellect, and are just very high value traits to have. That's about it, ladies. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to Greta's YouTube channel. Also hit the bell button to be notified whenever she uploads a brand new video. Give me a thumbs up and let me know what you liked most about this video. If you're not part of Greta's High Value Women School, make sure that you join. It is a free group where Greta teaches how to bring out the best in your man. Make sure you join the community. You can find the link to that Facebook group in the description section down below. And if you want to know how to stay attractive via text, or what games men play on women, how to control your emotions, or how to get your ex back, or even how to love yourself, or if you have a hobby that you want to turn into an online business, well, Greta has these videos and more up for sale on her website, and you can find the link to her website in the description section as well. And if you are interested in one-on-one coaching with me, Greta, or any other member of her team, then make sure you check out Greta's website at Bereisaite.com. You can also find the link in the description section below. If you don't follow Greta on Instagram, make sure you do that right now. It's Ladies Relationship Coach, and you can find the link to her Instagram in the description section below as well. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed making this video, and I cannot wait to see you next time. Bye!